Recently, I made a video giving my top 10 worst 2024 kits. These are shirts for international teams that will be used for the Euros, the Copa America and other international matches. So they are very important kits for representing the countries that they're from. But quite a few of those shirts were very disappointing. So I decided to redesign them myself. I took the top 10 from my last video and I'm making changes to make them look better. I did these redesigns using FIFA Kit Creator, which is an amazing website that you can use to create your own football kits, like the ones I just showed on the screen. Anyway, before we start, please consider subscribing. We're almost at 300. And with that all being said, let's get started with the first shirt, which is England, specifically the away kit. I wasn't a big fan of the colours on this one, so in my remake I went for a navy blue. I made sure to keep some other key elements from the original, like the gold colour on the logos and that unique pattern going down the sides. By using that design, I still keep that purple colour as an element of the kit, but I think it looks better on an England away kit if the base is navy blue. I personally think the blue and gold combo here works very well. Number 9 on my top 10 worst list was Germany. And for this one, the problem was again the colours. I don't really like the bright pink that they've used here. For my one, I switched to pink and purple for a light blue and dark blue design. Other than that, I kept the kit mostly the same. I added a few dark blue touches on the collar and cuffs just to make it fit in with the rest of the colour scheme, and then I was done. I did originally try a more greeny colour similar to the one that they had at the 2018 World Cup, but in the end, I decided that the light blue one looked a bit better. My pick for the 8th worst shirt was Colombia's away kit. The biggest problem here was that Adidas logo, which is red while the rest of the kit is black and orange. So in my redesign, I kept the black and orange colour, but I made a few small changes just to make the kit look a bit more balanced. First of all, I made it so that the orange only appeared on the collar, cuffs, logos and 3 stripes, to make it look a little bit less messy. I then replaced the design in the black with one that I think represents Colombia a little bit better. It depicts the national animal, which is an Andean condor. In this one, I tried to make it a little bit more simple, but also add a touch that represents the country. Another team that I thought had disappointing kits was Turkey. Their home kit has got a boring design that's been used so many times before on a Turkey shirt. So I decided to mix things up and rotate that red line so that it's vertical. I also added some red touches to the collar and to the cuffs, and I even added a nice little design in the stripe just to make things more interesting. I also made another version that's a bit similar, but has the center stripe split into 2 and moved away from the logos. Let me know in the comments which version is better. I also had problems with Turkey's official away kit, which was basically just a red shirt. So for my remake, I decided to add a pattern using the Turkey star and crescent. I'm not sure if you can see it very well in this picture, but I think it looks quite nice. I also added touches of white to the collar and the cuffs, but I kept that circle around the Turkey logo just to keep it similar to the original. Next up is the Spain away kit. My main problem with this was the way that they've tried to blend 4 colours that don't really work well together. The yellow, the red, the white and the blue. So I tried to use these colours to better effect in my shirt. The biggest change I made to this was adding this unique diagonal design to the bottom. But to be honest, I found this one really hard because the colours just don't work well at all. I decided that the best way to deal with this was just to put an exciting design on. Now let's move on to the next remake, Croatia. They went for some really big checkers here, which I don't really like. So what I decided to do was put smaller checkers within those big checkers. Other than that, I haven't really changed much, although I did put a little white bit down the middle so that the checkers don't meet. I think it looks better that way. I think this one looks nice, and it keeps the traditional size checkers for Croatia, but still keeps that big checker element from the original. Next up is the Venezuela away kit. I wasn't a big fan of the blue and yellow thing that's going on between the logos. So in my remake, I made sure that the blue and yellow weren't interfering with the rest of the shirt. I also made a couple of other changes that I thought slightly improved the kit, like changing the logos to a darker red and making the collar white. I wanted to keep the idea of a white base and a blue and yellow design, and I tried to make it look a little bit less messy. Next up is the Poland away kit. I really didn't like what was going on here, and it looked a bit more orange than it did red. In my redesign, I made sure the base was red, and I made the pattern a little bit more subtle. I also messed around with the logos a bit. As you can see, I put a little border around the Nike tick because I thought that looked better. I also thought this looked better with white sleeves, but that would look too much like the home kit. I also think it would look better without this pattern, but I wanted to keep it similar to the original. Moving on to the France away kit. For this one, they've gone for pinstripes of blue on the left and red on the white. I quite like the half and half idea, but I think it looks really ugly in this one. For my redesign, I kept this half and half idea, but went absolutely crazy with it. This fading blue on the left and red on the white, I think it looks quite nice. I also kept the gold logo because I think it looks good in this version. Last but not least is Canada. Their home and away kits this year are absolutely terrible, so I decided to remake both. Now for the home kit, I originally tried to do something with the maple leaf, but I couldn't really make it work. So instead, I used these fuzzy lines in different shades of red, which carries over the idea of a darker red and a lighter red from the original home kit. I think my one looks nicer because it's a lot more clean. At first, I thought this was a bit boring, so I made a version with white on it, but in my opinion, the one without any white looks better. For the away kit, my main problem was that those red pinstripes, first of all, look terrible on the white, but secondly, make that Nike tick and that weird red oval look even worse. In my remake, I placed those stripes in varying sizes either side of the centralized logo. There are 3 stripes on each side and they're bigger than the ones in the original. I think it looks better that way. And that was my final redesign. But just before we end this video, I have a small announcement to make. I'm going to be using the community post tab to host a football kit design competition. All you need to do to enter this competition is to redesign a 2024 kit. You can do that on FIFA Kit Creator, Photoshop, you can even just describe it in the comments and I'll make it for you. I'm hoping to get as many entries as possible, so if you're interested, please leave a description or link to your kit in the comments. You can also message me privately on FIFA Kit Creator, my link is in the description. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Feel free to click one of the videos on screen right now if you want to watch more, and with that all being said, I will see you later. Click those videos, they're really good, trust me. Click the videos.